Picture the Roman Forum, not as a place of glory, but as a city gripped by terror. A white wooden board stands in the center, another prescription list. You scan the names, dreading to see your own or a loved one's. If you're listed, you're marked for death. Anyone can kill you, and your property is forfeit. Sulla's prescriptions turned Rome into a city of informers and murderers. Greed and fear ruled. Old scores were settled with a sword. Plutarch tells us men died not for politics, but for their homes. The violence was random, the fear universal. Neighbors betrayed neighbors, sons betrayed fathers. The bonds of society shattered overnight. One man, reading the list out of curiosity, found his own name. His only crime was owning a coveted estate. He was killed within moments. Sulla's Rome was a city drowning in suspicion and blood. The state itself had become a weapon. The rule of law was suspended. Power now came from the sword. Sulla's politics were built on fear, not debate. The Republic's trust was broken. How could Romans ever feel safe again? The lesson was clear. The state could sanction murder, and no one was safe. Sulla's lists haunted Rome for generations. The question lingered, could the Republic ever recover from this terror? Sulla had changed Rome forever. The city would never be the same. The politics of fear had arrived, and Rome would never forget. Sulla emerged from a republic in crisis. Rome was split between two factions, the Optimates, defenders of tradition, and the Populares, champions of the people. The Optimates clung to the Senate and old ways. The Populares bypassed the Senate, appealing directly to the masses. Their rivalry was more than politics, it was a street fight for Rome's soul. The Gracchi brothers tried reform and were murdered, proving violence was now a political tool. Debate gave way to bloodshed. Losing meant exile or death. Into this chaos stepped Sulla, an ambitious nobleman. The city was a powder keg, waiting for a spark. That spark was the rivalry between Gaius Marius, the people's hero, and Sulla, the aristocrat. Their personal hatred escalated the conflict into civil war. Rome was no longer just arguing, it was preparing for battle. The Republic's crisis was about to become a war. Sulla and Marius would drag Rome into chaos. The old rules were gone. The fate of the Republic hung in the balance. Swords would decide Rome's future. The age of civil war had begun. Who was Sulla? He came from an old but poor aristocratic family, burning with ambition to restore his name. Sulla was clever, cultured, and notorious for his wild lifestyle, but beneath the charm was ruthless determination. He called himself Felix, the Lucky One, believing the gods favored him. This belief made him bold, even reckless. Sulla's confidence let him take risks others feared. He served under Marius in Africa, capturing King Jugurtha, a feat Marius claimed credit for. Sulla never forgave the slight, wearing a ring depicting his triumph as a constant reminder. Their rivalry became personal and bitter. Sulla was determined never to be second. His belief in destiny fueled his ambition and ruthlessness. Marius was the people's champion, Sulla the hungry aristocrat. Their collision was inevitable. Sulla's luck and resentment made him dangerous. He would stop at nothing for greatness. Rome was about to see just how far he'd go. The final break came over command against Mithridates, king of Pontus. Sulla, as consul, was legally entitled to lead the campaign, but Marius, still powerful, schemed to take the command for himself. Using political allies, Marius stripped Sulla of his command. Sulla faced a choice: accept humiliation or seize power. He chose the unthinkable, marching his army on Rome. For the first time, a Roman general attacked his own city. Many officers deserted, but Sulla's soldiers followed, lured by loyalty and promises of plunder. The city was defenseless. Marius fled. Sulla took control, outlawed his enemies, and strengthened the Senate. Then, with power secured, he marched east to fight Mithridates. But the precedent was set. Armies could decide Rome's fate. The Republic's last defense, military loyalty to the state, was gone. Sulla had shown that power came from the sword, not the Senate. Rome would never be the same. The door to civil war was wide open. Sulla's march changed history forever. The Republic's rules had been shattered. Rome's future would be written in blood. While Sulla fought in the east, his enemies seized Rome and unleashed their own purge. Sulla returned, victorious, and crushed them in a brutal civil war. Now master of Rome, he introduced the proscriptions, public lists of outlaws. Anyone could kill those named and claim a reward. Their property was seized by the state. The lists began with political enemies but soon became a tool for greed. Friends of Sulla added names for profit, targeting the wealthy and innocent alike. Families were destroyed, children barred from public life. The proscriptions became a state-sanctioned land grab. Terror ruled. No one felt safe. Sulla wasn't just killing opponents, he was erasing their legacies. The scars left by the proscriptions would haunt Rome for generations. Political disagreement now meant annihilation. Rome had learned to fear its own government. Sulla was a man of contradictions, capable of mass slaughter, yet a lover of art and literature. He sacked Athens but preserved its priceless library, bringing Greek knowledge to Rome. Sulla's friendships were intense but dangerous. Loyalty was rewarded. Defiance meant death. He had his own general, Ofella, killed for disobedience, right in the forum. Even mercy was calculated. Sulla spared young Julius Caesar, but only after making it clear he held Caesar's fate in his hands. Sulla was not a simple butcher. He was cultured, charismatic, and terrifyingly unpredictable. He valued art, but would kill for it. He could be generous, but never tolerated defiance. His will to power overrode all else. Sulla's character mirrored the chaos of his age. He ruled by fear, but left a legacy of complexity and contradiction. After crushing his enemies, Sulla became dictator, not for 6 months but for as long as he wished. He rewrote Rome's constitution, empowering the Senate and weakening the people's voice. Sulla believed he was saving Rome, even as he ruled with an iron fist. Then, shockingly, he resigned his dictatorship, dismissed his guards, and retired to his villa. No one dared challenge him. His power was absolute. Sulla spent his final days in luxury, surrounded by friends and memories. He died peacefully, leaving behind a republic forever changed. His epitaph boasted of vengeance and loyalty, a fitting summary of his life. Sulla's end was quiet, but his legacy was violent. The republic he claimed to save was left scarred and unstable. Sulla's peace was only on the surface. The wounds he inflicted would never fully heal. What was Sulla's legacy? For a moment, his reforms brought stability, but the republic's real problems remained: division, inequality, and violence. Sulla's true legacy was his methods: armies loyal to generals, not the state; murder as politics, fear as law. He showed that power came from force, not tradition. Future leaders learned from him: Pompey, Crassus, and most famously, Julius Caesar. When Caesar crossed the Rubicon, he followed Sulla's path. The cycle of civil war and dictatorship Sulla began would destroy the republic. Sulla believed he saved Rome, but he taught it how to die. Compromise was replaced by terror. The rule of the strongest became the only rule. Sulla's peace was an illusion, his violence a blueprint. Rome would never recover from his lesson. The republic's death began with Sulla's terror.